Welcome 4-plussers and YouTubers to Battle Report 24. It's a rematch against a familiar foe. The last two times we played, I was defending my command bastion and we fought to a draw both times. Andy's going to have 150 extra points due to tile differential and manufacturing bonus. And he also had some epic rolls on the Planetary Empires tables, and as a result, the only bonus I'm going to have this game is going to be +1 to pre-game rolls, steal the initiative, and reserve rolls. Since we last played, I've gained some ground, and I'm going to launch a decapitating strike to try and take out his command and control in his home territory. We rolled hammer and anvil deployment, and big guns never tire is the mission. I won the deployment roll-off and forced Andy to deploy first. There are 3 objectives marked by stars. The furthest star down in the right corner is actually supposed to be a little bit off the screen. You'll see the objective later on in the slides. So essentially, for simplicity of this battle report, the warp storm didn't have any effect this game. So I'm not going to really talk about warp storm table results. I mean, basically it was calm, or when he did roll a result, nothing happened. Also, the portaglyph ended up at the at his far board edge, so nothing that came out of it could actually get into the game. And it did spill out like 3 or 4 troop picks, but as the game went on, none of them really impacted the battle, so they won't get a lot of airtime. The demons are coming to the table with pink horrors and Herald, a skull cannon, a soul grinder with phlegm attack, Lord of Change. He's their warlord and he's hidden behind the bastion. You can see his colorful wings sticking out there. His allies include a Forge Fiend, a Khorne Lord with an Axe of Blind Fury on a Juggernaut, and Cultist manning an Icarus Las cannon. In reserve, he has a large contingent of Khorne Bloodletters and a Helldrake. And he's not screwing around this game. This is a pretty tough list, and it's pretty scary having to face off against it, but we'll see what I can do. The Dark Angels bring a pretty standard list. I brought 3 tactical squads and rhinos. They'll be combat squadded since it's not a kill point game. We got a Vindicator way up top there. Devastators with 4 las cannons hanging with the Librarian Warlord. He's got Prescience and not perfect time, Prescience and Forewarning for a 4-up invulnerable save. And the Land Raider is filled with Deathwing Knights. I managed to steal the initiative, which is not typically what I want to do in an objective game, but with the Helldrake coming in and Bloodletters coming from reserve, I decide I want an extra turn of unmolested shooting before I have to possibly focus on a big threat in my backfield or a big threat that's advancing very quickly. The Land Raider and the Vindicator advance. Shooting's kind of anemic my first turn. I managed to get a single glance on the Soul Grinder. And then I do get an immobilized result on the Forge Fiend, which is nice because he's only got a 36-inch range. On the Demons turn 1, the Khorne Lord advances, the Soul Grinder advances, Lord of Change flies up as well. The Skull Cannon pulls over to shoot at the Vindicator. He's out of range for anything downfield there. Demon shooting's rather weak as well. The Forge Fiend gets a glance on the Land Raider. The Soul Grinder kills 3 Devastators, but that's it. Turn 2 Dark Angels. The Land Raider backs up to get out of range of the Forge Fiend. The Vindicator pulls up for a glorious shot on the Khorne Lord and the Soul Grinder. If I roll a hit, I could kill both of them with a single hit and just a little bit of luck. Hopefully none of you are disappointed. There was a little build-up on that Vindicator shot, but he missed wildly. However, the Devastators did manage to explode the Soul Grinder, taking some ranged heat off of me. It also got me first blood and a heavy kill point. Turn 2 Demons, the Helldrake arrives. The Lord of Change Vector strikes and kills the Vindicator. Thanks to Hammer and Anvil deployment, I'm not going to have to worry about the Helldrake this turn. Not going to really hurt me. The Bloodletters arrive, but they go for a risky deep strike in my backfield and mishap, and he rolls a misplaced result. I think I put him in quite possibly the worst spot for my opponent. The only result worse than this would just be outright destroyed, but you know what? They might as well have been destroyed for purposes of this game because they're never going to come into play at this point. The only other advancement is the Khorne Lord and the Skull Cannon advance to get some shooting. Shooting phase, Lord of Change glances the closest rhino twice, and that's it. Turn 3 Dark Angels, the rhinos move away from the Lord of Change, and the Devastators do some minimal movement, leaving 3 las cannons stationary. And what they do is they shift to the other objective, which happens to be a Skyfire Nexus. Remember, they're scoring units, since its big guns never tire, so they can take over that Skyfire Nexus. They take full advantage of it and kill the Helldrake. Turn 3 Demons, the Lord of Change lands. Khorne Lord pulls up for an easy charge of at least the 2 rhinos and possibly a squad that falls out of them. The Skull Cannon moves forward as well to get a shot in there. The Lord of Change finishes off the rhino there. Does a pretty good job. 2 combat squads pile up. Then the Skull Cannon gets a bullseye. Hits both combat squads and the Devastators. He ends up killing a single Devastator, 4 Marines from the closest combat squad to the Lord of Change, and 1 Marine from the other. And then places Dread Skulls on all of them, which is going to give frag grenades to anyone that charges him this turn. The Khorne Lord takes the easy charge, and he explodes the Rhino, killing a Marine in each combat squad that was inside. And that's it. The Lord of Change failed his charge. Turn 4 Dark Angels, Land Raider pulls up, dumps out the Knights as close as it can get them. We're going to go for a long charge on the Lord of Change. Everything else in my backfield shoots at the Khorne Lord, and we just barely managed to kill him. The Land Raider, with its 1 las cannon that's left, takes a Machine Spirit shot at a cannon of Khorne and manages to knock the cannon off it. So really the only heat left in this game that the demons can apply to me at this point is the Lord of Change. Things are looking okay, but the Deathwing Knights do miss the charge at the Lord of Change, but it's okay. We got another turn. This was only turn 4. Turn 4 Demons, it's essentially all up to the Lord of Change. He has to keep me off 1 objective to secure the win for the Demons, and thanks to his Corpulence gift, he's got 6 wounds to work with, and it will not die. The Cannon of Khorne goes ahead and backs off, doesn't have a gun, and it really is, and it's a victory point because it's a heavy pick. Can't contribute, so might as well go hide with the mass of troops that you see in the backfield. Just stuff's been pouring out of the Portaglyph, and those bloodletters have finally run up that far so far in this game. Lord of Change charges into the Devastators. It's a 2-point squad since it's a heavy, and this is big guns, and it's got the Warlord in it. Lord kills the remaining Devastators and hangs a single wound on the Librarian. Turn 5 Dark Angels, the Deathwing Knights move up to get about a 5-inch charge on the Lord of Change. That's as close as I could get with my movement. The combat squad in the back there moves in as my contingency charge. Should I miss this charge, I don't want the Lord to get out of combat on my turn. I need to keep him near the Knights with basically... I need to kill him because he could jump over and contest either objective and get away from the Knights to where I couldn't charge him. The Knights fail their fairly short charge of 5 or 6 inches, but the contingency combat squad does its job. Locks the Lord of Change in place, scores a single wound on him with a crack grenade. Unfortunately, the Warlord is killed. Demons turn 5. The pile in the back of Andy's field gets bigger yet. 1 little Khorne bloodletter pops out of the Portaglyph. It's kind of a joke at this point between us. The Lord of Change kills his 3 Marines and breaks free. And we roll to see if the game ends. And it does not, so I still have a chance to win it. Had it ended, the demons would have won it. Dark Angels turn 6. I have 2 combat phases to kill a 3-wound Lord after everything in my army shot at him. I should be able to do it with Smite mode, or at least Math Hammer tells me I should be able to. Everyone in range charges. The Lord of Change goes first, targets the Knights. It makes sense. They're the big baddies with multiple attacks that can wound them pretty easy. And the Knights save everything with their storm shields. Now comes the pain. I got 4 strength 6 concussive shots from the Knight Captain. I've got 10 crack grenades from my Marines that all piled in. And I got 12 strength 10 concussive shots from my Smite mode maces. And I get 7 wounds. but only a single crack grenade gets through. Andy is on fire with his 5+ saves. The Dark Angels do win the combat by 1. Andy's dice are super hot, right? And you know, the bad part about being on a 5-6 streak is when you got to take leadership or demonic instability. He rolls a 10 for his demonic instability, taking his final 2 wounds away, and he's sucked back into the warp. It's victory for the Dark Angels, 9-6. I have 2 objectives for 6 points. 1 heavy kill with his Soul Grinder, slay the Warlord, and First Blood. The Demons have 1 objective for 3 points, slay the Warlord, and 2 heavy kills with my Vindicator and my Devastator squad. Andy's dice are still hot, and his shield generator is at maximum power, given the best possible shielding. But without his heavy support and his leadership, the flood of troops is no match for the Dark Angels' tactical savvy, and the Bastion falls anyways. Thanks, Andy, for a fantastically close game. I look forward to the rematch. Dark Angels will be manning the Corn Bastion till then. Thanks, everyone, for watching.